Mr. President.
Senator from Iowa.
Yes, I want to thank my colleagues today for their colloquy, the senators from Missouri, from North Dakota, and from Wyoming. This is a big deal, not just for those of us from these states, but for all Americans. We have a choice today. We do have a choice. We can stand with our farmers, with our ranchers, our small businessmen, our manufacturers, our home builders, or we can stand with an overreaching federal agency that is committed to expanding its reach to over 97% of our land in Iowa. As my colleague from Missouri stated, 99.7% of the land in Missouri. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to stand with my constituents. I'm going to stand with Iowans who have told me time and time again that their voices weren't heard in this process and that their livelihoods are being threatened. Instead of listening to those that will be most impacted by this rule, the EPA thought it would be better to use taxpayer dollars to illegally solicit comments in an effort to falsely justify their power grab. And a little over a week ago, President Obama in his State of the Union address pledged a willingness to work with Congress on cutting red tape. And this bipartisan legislation presented a great opportunity to do just that. But instead, he sided with unelected bureaucrats and an unchecked federal agency. So apparently, he must have already forgotten what he had said. I would also like to remind everyone that in November, 11 of my Democratic colleagues voted to uphold President Obama's rule at the behest of liberal special interests, and then immediately they ran for cover by sending a letter warning the EPA they may oppose the rule in the future if it isn't fixed. Only in Washington could someone reserve the right to do their job at a later time. And now here we are 3 months later, and this rule isn't fixed. Well, I say to those colleagues, today is that later time. Join me and help fix this rule today. In closing, we all want clean water. That is not disputable. I have continuously emphasized that the water we drink needs to be clean and safe. However, this rule is not about clean water. It is a regulatory power grab that harms our farmers, our ranchers, small businesses, manufacturers, and home builders. Stand up for them today, not a federal agency gone wrong. I urge all my colleagues to vote to scrap this ill-conceived Waters of the United States expansion. And with that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.